Welcome to Life After the Family Home, smart conversations about downsizing and planning the next chapter. Today's conversation is about something that often doesn't get talked about enough: the emotional side of leaving the family home. Because when people think about downsizing, they often focus on the practical side: square footage, layout, location, costs. But for many homeowners, the most important part of the decision is not practical, it's emotional. The family home is not just a place where you live, it's where life happened, where memories were created, where milestones were celebrated, and where everyday moments became part of your story. This is something that real estate professional Skip Benton with Coldwell Banker Select Real Estate in Northern Nevada has seen many times over the years. Homeowners who understand the practical benefits of downsizing, but still feel a hesitation, a pause, because the decision is not just about moving, it's about letting go of a space that holds meaning. For many people, that feeling shows up in different ways. Sometimes it's a sense of attachment, walking through a room and remembering what it used to be: a child's bedroom, a gathering space, a place filled with activity. Sometimes it's a sense of identity. The home has been part of who you are for many years, and changing that can feel like a change in life itself. And sometimes it's simply the idea of change. Even when change is positive, it can still feel uncertain. And that uncertainty can make it easier to stay where you are, even if the home no longer fits your lifestyle the way it once did. Well, that's why this conversation is so important. Because these feelings are normal. They are not something to ignore. And they are not something to rush through. They are part of the process. One of the most helpful shifts that many homeowners experience is when they begin to look at the decision differently. Not as leaving something behind, but as carrying something forward. The memories, the experiences, the meaning of the home do not stay behind. They go with you. They are not tied to the walls. They're part of your life, and your life continues in the next home. That perspective can make a meaningful difference because it changes the conversation from "what am I losing?" to "what am I taking with me?" Another important idea is that downsizing does not have to happen all at once. It can be gradual, thoughtful, intentional. For some homeowners, the emotional part of the process begins long before any decision is made. It begins with small steps, looking at a room, and deciding what still matters, what still serves a purpose, and what may no longer be needed. Not as a loss, but as a way of simplifying and creating space for what matters most now. This process often takes time, and that's exactly how it should be, because the goal is not to move quickly. The goal is to move comfortably, at a pace that feels right. That's something Skip Benton has seen consistently. Homeowners who give themselves time to process the emotional side of the decision often feel more confident when they are ready to move forward, because the decision is not being forced, it's being chosen. And that's an important difference. Another thing that many homeowners discover is that once they make the move, the emotional weight begins to shift. At first, there may be moments of reflection, looking back, remembering. But over time, new routines begin. New memories are created, and the new home begins to feel like home. Not because it replaces the past, but because it supports the present and the future. That's really what this conversation is about. Understanding that the emotional side of downsizing is not something to avoid. It's something to acknowledge, to respect, and to move through at your own pace. Because when the emotional side is understood, the practical side becomes easier. Decisions feel clearer. The process feels more manageable. and the transition feels more natural. So, if you've ever found yourself thinking about downsizing and feeling a sense of hesitation, a sense of attachment, or even uncertainty, that's completely normal. It simply means the decision matters, and that's a good thing. Because decisions that matter deserve time, thought, and care. Thank you for joining this conversation about life after the family home. Smart conversations about downsizing and planning the next chapter. And I'll see you in the next conversation.